Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So that opening scene pretty much tells you everything that you need to know about Yakuza Apocalypse. Basically, if you found that interesting, then I think you're really going to enjoy this movie. And so Yakuza Apocalypse is another movie directed by Takashi Miike. And Takashi Miike is a very famous and infamous Japanese director. He's best known for his movies Audition, Ichi the Killer, and one of my favorite action movies of all time, 13 Assassins. But he's done more than 100 movies in every type of genre, including a lot of manga and anime adaptations. And I would say he's one of the most versatile and unique directors out there. However, he's definitely not for everyone. And so Yakuza Apocalypse is basically a vampire Yakuza movie mixed with really gonzo crazy things. And also, as you saw in the intro, a person in a frog toad costume that's beating the crap out of people. Basically the world's toughest terrorist inside that costume. Yeah, that's really crazy. And if that doesn't make sense to you, well, this movie really isn't supposed to make sense. And so the main character we have here is Akira Kageyama, played by Hayato Ichihara, who stars in many of Takashi Miike's movie. And we also have a special guest. We have Mad Dog from the Raid movie. So this is an Indonesian actor, and this is the first time he's ever starred outside of Indonesian films. And his name is Yayan Ruhian. I think that is his actual name. And boy, he brings it in this movie. You know, there's a lot of action in here. And so Kageyama actually becomes a Yakuza vampire from his boss. And from that, a lot of crazy thing ensues. There is this syndicate organization. There's this world famous dangerous terrorist that I talked about. And then we have all the other characters around it, some of which are really, really bizarre, like people sewing. That really won't make sense until you watch it. And so it's really difficult to explain this movie. It's more of an experience. And so getting to the thing that I absolutely really loved about this movie is the action. The action here is pretty incredible. You have everything from swordsmanship, hand-to-hand combat, there's guns, there's giant, I would say like monster battles in a way, you know. So if you're thinking about something like Godzilla, it has those elements. I know that sounds weird. You have the whole Yakuza action element. There's just a lot of action, and it's done really, really well. And my favorite action scenes by far are two of them. The scenes with the actual frog toad costume person, and also with Mad Dog. You know, those are like my favorite action scenes. And the main actor, Kageyama, he does do a really great job in this movie as well, because he really leads all the action and everything comes to him in a lot of ways. And then the second thing that I enjoyed is just the characters themselves. Takashi Miike, he really takes time in most of his movies to make the characters very memorable. And in this case, as crazy as things are, I really was interested in the characters and actually cared about the main characters and even all the side characters, because they're just so crazy, but they're written in a way where they just make you want to like them. You know, that's really crazy to say that, but pretty much all the characters in this particular movie, at least for me, I found very interesting and fun to watch. And then another thing that this movie does so well is this entire world. It's absolutely crazy. So whenever you watch it, you're thinking it's going to go one way. Okay, Yakuza, vampires. But then it leads to another way whenever you introduce this frog costume characters, some other bizarre hybrid characters, and then you have other weird things going on, like one of the Yakuza members trying to grow children or humans from the ground from milk. Yeah, really nuts. And then when you add all these elements together, even though they don't make sense, they somehow make sense in this entire world. And Takashi Miike, he really doesn't take time to explain what's going on. So in one case, you're like, you don't know what's going on. But in another case, you're like, there's a lot bigger things going on here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who enjoy this movie would probably want to come back to this world, including myself. And then a final thing that I would say I really enjoyed about this movie is it's just a fun movie. You know, if you go into this movie without really having any normal expectations of traditional movies that you watch, you really get a kick out of it because it is just that crazy bonkers. And at the same time, the characters are awesome, and it just takes you on this entire experience that honestly I have not seen in any other type of movie, because as far as I've seen, I've not seen a movie like this, and I don't think there'll be another movie like this unless he actually does a sequel. So those are some of the main things that I really enjoyed about this movie. If you love reading books, then check out Audible, which has the largest selection of audiobooks anywhere on the internet. Sign up today and get a 30-day free trial. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting to the things that I did not enjoy about this movie, if you are the type of person, including myself, who expects a traditional type of movie where there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and at the same time things make sense and are explained, then you probably won't like this movie, especially at the end, where the way it stops is definitely not what I was hoping for. But at the same time, as crazy and bizarre this movie is, it's really expected that it would end that way. And that's probably like the only major negative that I could think about this movie, because it's just so fun to watch. There's so many interesting things. And, you know, hopefully, maybe in the future, there will be a sequel. Maybe we'll return back to this world, because I do want to know what happened to the characters. I want to know more about the syndicate, this whole vampire thing. I want to know more about this frog costume monster being, and there's just so many unanswered questions that I would like to see or maybe explored further. So those are my thoughts on Yakuza Apocalypse. And currently this movie, it is free to watch. You could watch this on like Tubi or Pluto TV if I remember correctly. And I highly recommend that you check this out, because it is just a crazy fun movie. So if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other movie you've seen from Takashi Miike, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my action or international film reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're a creative geek like me and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Go Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group.